Hello, everyone. This is Father Josh from St. Mary's Church in Palmdale, and I am doing this series of videos for all of us, especially who are at home during this time and are finding ourselves with a lot of time on our hands. And I'm doing these videos so that we can make some time in our lives now to grow close to God and to refresh in our minds some of our practices in our Christian faith that we can use now and use them to grow close to God. And one of the most important practices that we have is this, right? The Rosary. So I'm going to briefly talk a little bit about the Rosary today to help you guys get started, especially a lot of us who maybe haven't picked up a rosary in a really long time, for how we can approach praying it. Just a quick comment that, yes, we are reading your comments and we are loving all of you who are following these videos. So if you want in your comments to just tell us whatever. If you want to give us some ideas for future videos, we're trying to do every single day a video for all of you. Just, in the comments, place them there and we'll read them. I'm kind of new to the live thing, so we're still trying to help me figure that out. But we will read all the comments that you place there. So, the Rosary. The Rosary is one of our most important prayers in the Christian, especially the Catholic tradition. And it has a long history, and there's a lot of traditions around the Rosary, a lot of different prayers that you can add. There's been apparitions of Our Lady that talk about the importance of the Rosary, and I'm not going to get into all of those things today. There's many people who are pros at praying the Rosary and have the way that they love to pray it, and that's beautiful. Today, I'm just focusing this video on a couple things for especially those of us that haven't picked it up in a while and need just some hints for how to get started. The Rosary is a beautiful way of praying and uniting ourselves to the life of Jesus. Uniting ourselves to the life of Jesus and living his life in our life. So 2 things that we need to know, I think, that are important to start the Rosary. 1, we need to know 3 basic Catholic prayers. Those prayers are the Our Father, the Hail Mary, and the Glory Be. Now, to do the basic Rosary, you do need to know 2 other prayers. They're called the Apostles' Creed and the Hail Holy Queen, which are done, the Apostles' Creed at the beginning, and the Hail Holy Queen is done at the end of the Rosary. All of those things, all of these 5 prayers, especially the 3 main ones you need to be able to pray the Rosary, you can find very easily on the internet. There are beautiful little pictures, like maps of how to pray the Rosary, where they have the whole Rosary there, and there's little points to tell you where to pray what. So the nuts and bolts of how to do it, I think we can easily find on the internet. But how do we pray it, right? It's not just how do we say what, where, and when, right? How do we pray the Rosary? I think that's what I'm more interested in today. And, when I was a kid and we were taught how to pray the Rosary, I kind of thought of it as like, okay, we're just getting these 50 Hail Marys done, right? And that's what's counting to God. Get it done, go through it, right? Like it was sort of like a competition or a race, right? And that's not really the best way to approach the Rosary. The Rosary is a meditation. It's a prayer of meditation. Now, in our popular culture, we think of the word meditation usually as clearing our mind of distractions, right? Putting aside distractions. But meditation in the Christian tradition isn't really so much about putting aside distractions as it is focusing ourselves on one thing, focusing ourselves on Christ. Focusing ourselves so much on him that the other things don't become important anymore. So the distractions just kind of fall away. So it's sort of the opposite of the back away idea of meditation. It's actually not back away. It's focused so much on on one thing, Christ. That's what we're doing in the Rosary. And we do that with the different mysteries. So when you research what are all the mysteries, you'll find that there are 4 sets of 5 mysteries. And that when we pray the Rosary, we pray one set of those mysteries. Those mysteries all have to do with the life of Jesus and Mary. And in the Rosary, we remember that Mary's life is always an example of us, for us, that points us to Christ, right? So when we research and see all those mysteries, we're going to find a lot of big church words that are there, right? And we might think, well, I don't know what that is. What's the Annunciation or the Assumption? Those kind of words, we might have to look up and read those stories, or what does that mean? That's very important we understand what those mean so that we can meditate on them. And that's what we're ultimately doing in the Rosary, and I think is the main point. We need to meditate on those mysteries. So, for example, one of the great mysteries and one of the great miracles of Jesus is his resurrection, right? The resurrection. And I think what we can do when we pray the Rosary, when we're praying those 10 Hail Marys on that one mystery, is we close our eyes and we place ourselves in that scene. We enter into that mystery, that part of Jesus' life, the resurrection. So when I pray the Rosary and I think about that mystery, the resurrection, I meditate on being there. Maybe I'm Jesus and I'm feeling what he's feeling, appearing, right, to his apostles after he rises. Or maybe I'm one of the women who comes and finds the tomb empty. The surprise, right? Or maybe I'm one of those angels, right? The men in dazzling white there, that tell the women, do not search for him here. He is risen. Or maybe I'm the Apostle John, right, who runs fast when I hear that Jesus has risen and I go to the tomb and find it empty. So when I'm praying those Hail Marys, I'm not focusing so much on the movement and my lips are moving. Those are to help me focus on what's really important, the mystery. So that as I enter into the resurrection and I enter into the Assumption and all the different moments of Jesus' life and Mary's life, which points us to Jesus, that I'm hopefully becoming more like him. That's the purpose of the Rosary, to bring us to be more like Christ by meditating on the points of his life, right? Meditating on his life that helps me to live his life in my own journey. This is something that we can pick up during these days. And the Rosary really only takes probably 15 minutes, depending on if we do learn and have been taught other prayers to add, many other traditions that are around the Rosary. But I think what's important for us, especially if we're picking it up, as I've said, maybe we learned it as a kid and it's been sitting in a drawer somewhere for a long time, that we focus on the Rosary not as a race or a challenge to get through it, right? I win a prize from God because I've done all of this, but as a meditation so that I can grow in my spiritual life by meditating on these different beautiful and wonderful moments in Jesus and Mary's life that helps me to live Jesus's life in my own life. God bless you all. Keep following us every day and our videos. And as I said, make some comments of videos that you'd like to see me talk about, many topics, and we will do that. God bless you all. Father Josh here from St. Mary's Church in Palmdale.